Your commentators are David Croft and a very out of breath Anthony Davidson.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome from... We'll complete the racing distance of 7,330. Probably feels like 580 laps for the three for grabs. Piastri, Verstappen, driver in Formula One to be champion. Track as last year, around about the same temperature as last. It's 2 against 1 for a McLaren Triumph Box. Barely a bead of sweat on you.
Yeah, it was up at 36.8. Excuse me. Particularly the Ferraris, we heard Leclerc. So, yeah, the track wasn't in great condition during FP1.
Yeah, don't we? What is the point of FP1 in Abu Dhabi? Thinks back to his teammate Lando Norris when he's missed it.
That he reads your stats like that, Coffee.
There's the man in the box seat, 408 points, Lando Norris. Plenty of permutations, we'll bring them to you throughout the week of the garage, which was his garage for a while. He's not... 11,957 days since...
yeah, I haven't heard those names for a while.
Did you know, friend? But yeah, I don't know if they're going to do a guard of honour for Peter. Just screams Formula One to me. You can say they've been a great presence in the paddock and on the grid.
I think Robert, 58 laps on Sunday. Well, how they go? How comes Red Bull only just finished? Also some changes in the car if he's not already in that McLaren, and Mac happy at all. So had he been out there on representative track conditions? So the question...
Got a car, qualified 4th, finished 6th last year, but to me, this race weekend, you give yourself an excellent chance. After that...
Circuit that does reward a powerful.
Yep.
It isn't a race where it's per stint like we were at the last one.
Phew.
Qualifying is...
a weird one, isn't it? Because you're absolutely right. We had 30 not parked on the back of a boat, surely.
I'm sure it hasn't got...
So, well parked, Fernando or Lance. Pole has won 10 times.
I wonder if it's got anything to do with the very short... You know, it's a track that... something extra out of it as a driver. Stats are there to be broken, and I'm sure the man's just...
My helmet is pointing upwards, please.
Understood.
It's going to make your eyes water by the time we get to Abu Dhabi. And we've had many people have done, teams have done their development.
And it's not a track where you see items that they can go through as they're in FP2.
Look at that, 7 wins this season. The man could get 8 if they're all tied on 7. Oscar, so on a countback, he would win for that. But quite frankly, and I haven't got that far.
I was just going to... They're going to just be thinking, firstly, about the victory and see if there's anything that a few years ago in 2016 springs to mind with Lewis Hamilton.
As Verstappen crosses the line to complete his code for you, if you want the course of the race so you can impress your friends with all your knowledge, and I will be using that, thank you very much, QR code for you as we just watched the Ferrari. You can use the QR code that we're going to be seeing on now if you're watching on Sky Q, 6 minutes into the session. Surprises me, Mr. Colapinto, and here's Oscar Piastri. People are doing that and had a dominant weekend.
Yeah, Oscar was not quite himself. A little bit of feel for the car. It was the car's favour, maybe went against the way that it just didn't quite click for him. Race in Qatar is a little bit, is it here as well? It's a circuit where I think to the business as well. So let's see how a lot of the other drivers had that chance to run.
Norris put a lap in. He's nearly half. Is absolutely storming. If you've missed the news, will be Max Verstappen's teammate calm about the whole thing when he was speaking about it. Tenths of a second. That's a pretty decent lap there. From might have been a surprise. Piastri being a little bit, and Lando Norris. This is Verstappen, and he was right at the last moment. I think the radio.
Almost crashed.
So your world championship away from you.
How we say.
But that was nothing malicious from Mac. That was GP, his engineer, just reading, but actually who was pushing.
And it is possible because the temperatures obviously have changed somewhat. Kimi Antonelli right now. We can go
before they go underneath the hotel and the tyres and what have you. So almost pedestrian phase. Martin trying to get out of the way of killing the first part of qualifying when all to the curb there. You can see where they run. It's very all in the car. You're leaning on the outside tyres. That is minimise the angle of that street. And he's just out. Of course, he didn't do FP through the year everywhere. And then he sort of, when the wind interestingly, they'll never. The engines are very fluffy. Traction control. You can hear it. It sort of has to. Every time they put their foot, it's like the engine has to clear its throat. The electronic control unit on the car, and Charles Leclerc, they're getting. It's just 60 miles an hour through. Lando Norris, they're taking an awful lot of that
indication of
in action now, and one of those drivers that's having to practice session, and it takes a little while before there's a lot of good that comes from it, but most of that goodness in real life, unless, of course, you're
operating window there for Lando Norris, fastest overall in the here in FP2. Welcome back. This time in the evening, and the wind and the sea.
With the car after the comes down a bit, disperses, and we're now at 20 and better. So yeah, we're around 10 degrees. There can sometimes be over a second of performance.
What we need in the commentary box is something a little bright. Face the camera, and then everyone will know. This is the first.
This is the first.
Excellent.
Is this part of being full-time in Formula One?
Yeah, it's he's a rookie or a test driver, reserve driver. Yeah, too late for next year, and I apologise for that. We should have got.
We're yet to wait.
But otherwise, the sequence goes on.
At the beginning, because we were coming here, I don't know if the temp. I'm sure the cars feel much better now than they did.
This
driving at the same time.
TV.
It's dirty, and also it was with the track temperature. But for sure now in FP2, and generally when the track temperature is lower, the grip's much better. Because the last time I drove was in Mexico, and I used to be back in a proper environment.
In the kind of when's it locked in?
I think it has sometimes been later. It really depends. Give the sessions away, because ultimately that means that what I plan. But you need to be dynamic, and I think some people were doing FP1s in Bahrain already. With the car, and how happy are the drivers?
See the two cars or not?
Yes, there is.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I'm sure. You two, my friends. Yeah, there is a difference. I mean, every car has a different team's car. You hear often the drivers say, so here in Formula One, where you actually develop driving styles and.
Well, look, we've got two drivers, Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar, on the soft during the first sector. Isaac is out on Max, so nearly 3/10, mid-123s. Just kind of puts that on there to go half a second while as he makes his way one more corner.
Look very nice and tidy in that sector 3, and on this sector is the most grip limited, and on this track the grip becomes important. So sector struggling a little bit in sector 1, but then he has more time.
You mentioned it looked controlled, and as does Hulkenberg's. From what I can make out, Paul, it's that turn 12, it looks exciting and quick. It's not necessarily
car. By the way, that was a stalking lap from Hulkenberg in FP1. I think. Oh, that was close.
He stops.
And the car is so low and stiff, and that's been removed, but there's a few new ones. And
Norris had a moment there as well. And you're just going to have to rework the line, but
just the other side of it, but less than a Tinelli. And a rookie his way and has fought back.
All the rookies have done a good job. It's always going to be a bit of a shock for a rookie to do their job on a few weekends. That some of these Formula 1 drivers, they want to come late to the track and so on.
Got to apologise for that, I'm afraid, Paul. You're not a deep language, ladies and gentlemen. Great, sir.
English is not my first language.
I'm sure the mechanic 3-0 puts 3.5 tenths between himself. Dream start. Estonia not
in for how small the country is. There's been a few weeks ago or back in the day who have been very close to have a deal done, and that was the time with BMW pulled. And I would say from motorsport there's been many successful people kind of bring that flag to Formula One, and the journey started from my father, who was
We've made some changes in the background.
We're on board with Oscar Piastri. Your father
crazy, and then he didn't let. Where actually he wanted to race on dirt bikes, always at the racetrack, saw him race. Then he got me a go-kart, got a really bad one.
Because a decent time for Oscar Piastri, nearly 7/10 off. Franco Colapinto has just got Pierre Gasly's form in qualifying in the last few appearances this season. What have you learned from
being together for that qualifying? Because but very often I've heard on the debriefs, he's just able to put it all together, and that's why I think they've built this good entourage and then just put the package together for qualifying, and that's and trying a lot of things. But when it comes
so after FP1 you'll go back in there, and so then how's that for you?
Yeah, for sure, how good your feedback is, and that's something I've worked a lot. Confident that I can deliver a good structurized feedback.
Nicely controlled that.
Almost Max, that you need to be structured. I mean, sometimes feel and understand, but for the engineers the most impossible, and that's what I try to do. And from what I heard, they were very happy they did, and if what I suggested was the right direction.
Track as well. We could talk all night, we can't. And the year after, we'll be talking about...
Much, and sorry for the language.
Ted Kravitz has some news on Oscar Piastri.
Referred to again, bit of a blast from the past. Verstappen, it's even going okay for George Russell. They don't have a balance yet. He doesn't have a balance yet to the box. Made a quick adjustment via the end of the hour, and he's still not happy. Practice 3. Let's see how this